welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica, and on today's video we're going to be talking about the Mythographic books. I love these books. I do have some issues with the more recent editions, but we'll get into that in a minute. Basically, I just kind of want to go through the books a little bit with you, talk about how they've changed from the first book through to the most recent one that I have, and I'm guessing the newest one that's out as well is similar. And how different ways that maybe you can address the hidden objects in these books. So let's get started. So first I want to talk about Joseph Cadombang's books. He has 4 different books. He has Animals, Imagine, Aquatic, and Odyssey. I got Animals pretty early on when it first came out, and I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I did the cover page. I was super excited. And then I went to do another page and I was like, oh, that's a lot of flowers to color or leaves to color. And so since then, I've only really finished one other page. And I don't really like the background, but that's neither here nor there. I've only really finished one other page, and it's this one. You can kind of see where I've tried to add some of the sparkly watercolors in the background, and it just didn't look quite right. But this part I do like. But yeah, so basically throughout this book, it's an animal. It's either like a forward-facing picture or an animal going to one side or the other with a trail of flowers and hidden objects all kind of mixed in. This book, I don't mind that there are random hidden objects because they don't necessarily detract from or cover up any of the major important pictures. Sorry about that. I don't know. My camera was doing something weird. Anyway, I was basically saying I don't mind the random hidden objects. Like you wouldn't normally think to have a walkie-talkie with a picture of an eagle or these little baby shoes. But the way that they are integrated into the picture, it is done in a way that it does not detract from the main image, the main focal points of the image. So you can come in and you can use like a similar color scheme. I haven't done very many other things. I've done mostly things where I've gone through and used like a watercolor or a marker. So here. So I haven't addressed any of the hidden objects really, but there are different ways that you could do that. You could do it with the same color scheme that you're already using on the picture. You could do it like I've seen several people do it where they were inspired by the front cover where they've just done gold or some other kind of metallic or glitter gel pen and just cover the image. And I think that looks pretty neat too. But in this book, it's not so much, the hidden objects don't bother me. And then in Joseph's books, it only gets better as the books go forward. See, in this one, again, I didn't really address any of the hidden objects, but I could take I could take colors from what I've already put down and use that to kind of blend the objects in. It's kind of like the Kirby books early on where they just had random doodles, and if you try to do it where it's all in one color scheme, then it's not as distracting. I don't know. Detracting? I don't know which word. Whichever word is the right word, that's the one I meant to use. But yeah, so the hidden objects in this book don't bother me, even though they are random. I still really enjoy this book, even though I haven't colored very much in it. My goal is to color in it. So in Imagine, you still have some, I do have one finished page in this, and I think that's the only one I might have started. Oh, no, I did this one as well. You do still have some hidden objects, but they are not, well, see, I get to this page, and you can kind of see on this one, there's like a weird thimble sticking out here and like towels or something. But for the most part, there are things that you can work into the overall page. So for this page, yeah, I've got a thermometer over here and an ice cream and an ice skate, but a lot of those images kind of go with the the page's theme. And then I just colored them in a way that they kind of blend in with the entire picture. And I'll show you the other page that I did. It was this one. And this one really doesn't have any random hidden objects so much. Maybe the lock would be something that's not normally seen, but I feel like that all worked together pretty well. But yeah, so in this book, the hidden objects start to make a little more sense. They're not as distracting from the rest of the image, and you can really focus on how beautiful, look at that, how beautiful the artwork is. And really, I'm only seeing like 2 random things in here. Oh, and this, well, that kind of could be considered. I don't know. But yeah, so you can really start to focus on the artwork. And then if you look at the back of the books, so in this one, there's about 5 hidden objects in every page. Yeah, it looks like there are 5 in every single page. And there's 6 in a couple of them, but yeah, so it's not so many that it's just like so overwhelming that you don't know where to look. So yeah, so when that started in this book, I was like, oh, that's really cool. There are some hidden things, but really the focus is on the art, and I was so excited about this book. In contrast, so if you look at the first book, there were 15 to 20 hidden images. Oh, the 20 is just on the cover. But yeah, 15, 18. Yeah. About 15 hidden images on each page, and that seemed like an excessive amount. And then I don't know which one came first, if Odyssey or Aquatic came first, but it's the same trend. You do have a few hidden objects here and there, but it's done in a way that you still see the beautiful artwork that he's created. So, like, for instance, I can see a wishbone here, and I don't know what that is, but that's a hidden object. There's an acorn hiding down there, but they're done in ways that, like I said, it doesn't distract from, look at that. That's beautiful with the tentacles and everything coming out around her. Anyway, yeah. So it just got better and better with each edition that he released. So this one again has about an average of 5. And I'm going to guess that was a publisher decision, because they're like, well, we can't call it Color and Discover if it doesn't have hidden objects. So he had to put at least 5 in there, or I'm not sure if they even might have put it in there. But yeah, so I really liked this one, and then Odyssey is my absolute favorite, because the hidden objects, not only do they, are they not so apparent, but they make sense. They make sense. So in this Ariel one that I colored, there's a compass and a skull and a treasure chest and a ship's wheel. And those are all things that you would think to find in some kind of seafaring picture. And this one, so it's like a Medusa, and there's a mask and a dagger and a mirror and a shield. And those are all, again, things that you would probably associate. And here's the Alice page. So, you've got like this jar here that's not too, but most of the stuff that you would find that's kind of hidden would be stuff that would make sense. So I really, really love this book. It's my absolute favorite. And I won't attempt to hide the hidden objects in this book. They'll just be part of the artwork. This is one that I really want to color. And I think in this one, so I think there's like a card that is a little off, but it still has like a sun. So you can incorporate it into this whole thing. There's a jar and a sigh and like a little pharaoh statue. So all of it kind of goes with the artwork. So yeah, love this book. Absolutely love it. So when I heard that Fabiana Attanasio was releasing some books in this series, I was super excited because I love her artwork. And then I got my first book and I said, what on earth is going on? So let's just take this page, for example. If you just look at it, first glance, beautiful night sky, beautiful leaves and flamingos in some water. And then you look closer and you're like, there's a tack in the middle of this flamingo. There's a hairbrush, a soccer ball just thrown in there, a pipe, a tape, maybe that's an iPod, a game controller, watering can. I mean, it's just the most absolutely random, just random objects. But with that being said, I still really, really love the artwork. So my mission in these books, so these ones have anywhere from 15 to 20 hidden objects. You can see how, I mean, the lists are just huge at the end of the... it wouldn't bother me so much that they were so random if they weren't overlapping images. So, like, this one is covering up this fish, and there was one in the front of the book this is so beautiful, and then you've got a hairdryer and a card in the middle of the page. It's a beautiful picture. I just can't stand those objects. And then I didn't want to buy Enchanted Castles, and I kept putting it off, and I finally was just like, one day I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And again, same thing. There's between 15 and 20 hidden objects in every page, and not only that, these are super, super detailed. But I still like them, and I really wanted to attempt, like, this one is beautiful. This artwork is gorgeous. But there's like a beach ball in the middle of the sky and a lawn chair sitting. I mean, it's just, it's frustrating when you see art that's so beautiful and it's almost ruined. Almost, because I am trying to devise ways to fix it. So I have seen some people, here's one that's a long-standing whip. I just gave up on it because I hadn't colored most of the hidden images because I didn't know what to do with them. But once it's colored, I'm sure it'll be beautiful. But why is there a roll of toilet paper in the tree? Anyway, so I've seen a lot of people do what they do on the cover. They just gold it out and leave it. I've seen, and I think on Instagram, she is, I don't want to get this right, PMNP. I think if it's not right, I'll put it on the screen. But she does beautiful works in all of the Mythographic books. But this one is one where I've started and I have whited out the images. So, for example, I'm hoping that you can see down here by the foot, there's a toy dump truck, and then there's a boat and a Starbucks cup and a shirt and a mobile, and there's a traffic cone. So what I did is I went through and I whited out the image with a Posca pen, and then I continued the lines of the artwork through the image. So up over here, I've even added some color here so you can kind of see. You can see the image, but then when you're farther away, you just see the color. And again, so right in here, I don't even know if you'll be able to see that on camera, but right in here, there was like I think it's a ship's wheel or a steering wheel of some sort. But the way that I was able to color it, you can't hardly see it. So I'll move it closer so you can kind of, I have no idea if you're on frame. There. So there's the ship wheel right in there. So yeah, so basically I'll kind of show you my thought process. I'm going to zoom in a little closer so you can see what I'm doing, but this is the best way for me, I think, to work through these books. All right, so let me get set and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so to white these out, I used my Posca pen, the 3M, and it has a little bit broader tip than the other ones do. And this one is not as opaque for some reason. So I was able to mute the the main lines, and then if I really want to get rid of them, I can go back in with my 1M Posca. I'm not even sure which numbers to refer to this. I would say this is 1M, but it's 0.77 or 0.7 millimeters tip. And this one is anywhere from 0.9 to 1.3, depending on the pressure that you put. So, okay, so I was going to show you the shoe here. So you can see that it's kind of faded right now, and there is a design behind here. So I'm going to try to recreate the design the best that I can. It doesn't have to be perfect because nobody's going to notice that. The thing that will make the biggest difference is the line weight. So when it's really fine lines, you need very thin pens. So I do have a couple different brands. So I have these Pigma Micron pens, and I have a 0.2 or 0.2 and a 0.1 tips, and these are both very fine lines. I also have some Staedtler pigment liners in a 0.2 and a 0.05. This one's super, super tiny, so if you like really have intricate details that you want to try to recreate, that's a great one to use. But I'm typically okay with the O2, and I like this one because this one's a little bit thinner than the Staedtler is. So I'm going to have to turn the book a little bit, sorry about that. I'm going to attempt to just draw those lines in, and you can see it's not perfect, but you can also, if you look at this section, there's a little bit of detail work here and here, and also on this same one that's very similar, it does the same thing. So there's a few little hash lines. So I'm going to add in some of those hash lines, just kind of right over top of that shoe. And then there's also kind of I don't know if that's a candle. It might be a candle. But I'm going to continue any lines that I see, and then I'm going to do my best attempt to recreate. See, that one's a little too small, but that's okay. I'll do my best attempt to recreate that and then draw in the lines. And yeah, and then once that's colored in, it's not going to be as apparent, I promise. I did the same thing down here. I colored in, I drew in the shape of the design here. I did the same thing here. None of these lines were in here behind this milk jug. Again, with the bricks on this side, I drew in all of the lines. The only one that I see that's going to be super difficult is possibly this one that overlaps the that overlaps the leaves here, the tree, the palm leaves. But yeah, so there's that. So I wanted to show you kind of how that will work with the colored pencils that you choose. So on this page so far, I've been using some of my baby Prismacolor pencils that I have here. And they have been working really well. I would assume since Prismacolors are what they are, you know, they're a pretty opaque pencil and you can really make them do awesome things. So let's attempt to color right over where that shoe was. And I'm using like a golden color. So I've got this baby, I think it's yellow ochre. I'm not sure, but it's PC942. So I'm just going to color right over top of where I just drew my lines. You do want to make sure that the lines are dry before you go back in because, yeah, you don't want to smear all the hard work that you just did. And then with as detailed as these are, I'm not sure I'm going to pay too close attention. I'm probably just going to do it all in shades of the same color, because I feel like if I try to do it in all the different colors, like I might randomly, like maybe this section up here would have a little bit of color, and then this section down here. But if I try to do every section with tons of color, I feel like that's just going to be too busy. So my goal is to just keep it kind of one tone or one color all the way through. And you can already see, and I forgot a little bit of the, and I might go back in with my 0.1 or my 0.1 tip because the other lines were a little thick. Yeah, that's better. Once you start to color over things, the lines just kind of fade into the background. They don't look so crazy. I just wanted to color this little section here and kind of show you how I would do this. Okay, let's do, so for this one, I think I just added my my dark brown color. I think it's just dark brown. It's the PC 947, so I'm going to add in the shadows for that right now. I'm going to follow the lines of this little design here, and then we're going to color. I'm going to come down from the base of each of the flames. I don't even know what that is. Again, I'm going to trace, I'm just using this darkest brown that I have, and I'm going to trace the little sections and color out from the edges where anything would be overlapping. Looks like there's a little bit of a bump out right in there too, so get that area a little bit more detail. And then I'm going to add just a little bit over where these lines are. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with, I think this is light umber, possibly, but it's PC 941. And I'm going to blend the brown out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with the yellow ochre that I have. Color right over top of all of those. Sorry if you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm using these baby pencils, so it's kind of hard to hold them back so that you can see what the pencil's doing. It might be fun to come in here with some gold gel pen, maybe gold glitter gel pen, and color where those, maybe where these dots are. I am going to come in with a really light yellow. I think it's my lemon yellow. So it's PC 915, and I'm going to kind of blend this out just a little bit, just to bring some yellow into it, just a tad. Go back over this section here. color that part a little darker. And then I'm going to grab a gold glitter pen from my, I'm just going to use my Crayola one that I have here. And color in these flame shapes. And these little dots here. And there you go, there's the little section, and you can't hardly even see where the shoe was. And when you look at the picture overall, it's going to completely disappear. So that's one way that I would try to hide the images. I've got a couple other pages flagged here. I wanted to attempt to, I've got this one, the unicorn, and there's one more. Yeah, so let's attempt it with this page. So first I'm going to try this. Now this is the first time I've tried this, so I'm going to try this Pitt Artist pen, because I think I saw, I want to say it was Imogen from Coloring Kid used these, and mine had a little bit of blue on the tip, so I want to make sure that I don't have any color on the end of it. Okay. Yeah, so it's a pretty big, broad tip. But let's see how detailed we can get with it. So I'm gonna start, just gonna start here with this paint brush and easel. And the thing with this is once you cover the item, when you come back in with your color, it's gonna disappear. And if you do have like just a white area where this item might be, you can come in when you're done coloring everything and use a white Arteza pen or the little tiny Posca pen that's super opaque and just white it out. I'm going to switch to the Posca so you can see the difference. So this, again, this is my 3M Posca that goes from 0.9 millimeters to 1.3 millimeters. A random cord and light fixture hanging from the dinosaur or the dragon. Okay, and you want to be, you don't have to cover it completely, because like I said, once you come in with your color, it's not gonna be as apparent. Here's a purse or something in the middle of this. So you can kind of see the Pitt Artist pen and the Posca, they do about the same thing. It's not a super opaque cover up. Now, if you go back over top with the Posca, you for sure will get that opaque coverage. Let's see what will happen with the Pitt Artist pen. Oh yeah, see, that does give you a little bit more coverage. Let's try with the Posca again. Make sure you guys are in frame. Yeah, see, this one almost completely obscures those lines. And then if we want to try with the little baby Posca, the tiniest tip that you have, let me find another weird hidden object. Okay, there's a wallet right here. This Posca for some reason is super juicy, so hopefully that's not gonna what I might do is kind of pounce it off a little bit. But I wanted to show you kind of how I would wipe these out. And then the Prismacolors, you saw how good those work. Let's try another set. Let's try, I've got some Black Widows here. So I'm going to try to color in some of this lava with some reds. So let me grab those. Okay, I've got a couple of Black Widow colors. I've got 2 from the Cobra set, the Deep Red and the Blood Diamond, and then from the Scorpion set, I've got Brown Bug, and that's like a really dark brown red. So first, and a lot of the times, one tip to remember with the Black Widows is if you have a layer of color down first, it's much easier to blend on top of that. So I usually go in with my lightest color, so I'm going to go in with this Deep Red and do a very light layer over the whole thing. I could probably put some orange in here too, that would be good. Maybe I'll grab a little bit of orange just to change that shade a little bit. Let me grab, okay. I've got this carrot color from the Skin Light set. I am going to go ahead and add that in here just to help change that tone a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go with I'm actually going to start with my darkest color now. I'm going to go Brown Bug, and the areas that would be really dark, I'm going to color in like along the edges. Anywhere where there's like a dip in the lava too. So like this part where it's going over top of the rock is going to be a lighter shade than like this part here where it kind of dips down. And you can kind of see right in here it kind of dips in. So that's what I use as my guide for where to put my darker colors. And then again I would do it along where these rocks are. Okay, now I'm going to go with the Blood Diamond, which is my second darkest shade, and just shade outward from that dark shade that I put in. Okay, add a little bit more in there. Back in with my Deep Red. And then in with the carrot over top of everything. So I think that'll look cool. Once all of that lava's colored in like that, that'll be really cool. Okay. But you can kind of see it did kind of show through a little bit more than I had planned on. But once you get all the colors in, it should be fine. And you can also go back in and I'm going to darken this line up right here so that it looks like it's a continuous line. Okay, let's try over here where we put the Posca. So I'm right at this one. First I'm going to go in with my micron pen. So I'm using the 02 micron pen, and I'm going to try to figure out where the lines are. So I think that this is kind of like just like an outcropping right here. So you can kind of see right here how it's just kind of a piece that's just hovering. And I think that that is kind of what this one is too. So I'm going to draw it a little bit wonky. And then over here, your river of lava is like snaking down like that. And the rest of this is, some of it's hidden behind this leaf, and the rest is kind of just rocks. So you can just kind of do in some shading different lines and then make it your own thing, because I wasn't really sure what that was, so now it looks like that. Okay, so we're going to start again with our deep red. Almost completely disappeared. Let me grab some grays for the rock here. So I've got dim gray from the Cobra set, charcoal from the Cobra set, and coal from the Monarch set. So the dim gray is my lightest color, so I'm going to go over all of the rocks first with that color. Okay, and then I'm going to use my charcoal color and go over where the shadows would be a little bit. Do the same thing with the coal. I'm going to again go right where the shadows are. I probably should have done that one first and then moved outward, but I just added a second step for myself basically, so that's okay. I might actually come in with my midnight too, because that's a really nice dark black. Yeah, I'm going to use the Midnight, which is from the Skin Dark set. It's a really good black. There we go, and get into those deep shadows with that black color. Right there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back over everything with my dim gray. Okay, well, the Black Widows worked great with the Posca. I can just barely see, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to move this a little closer so you can see. You can just barely see the line right there. And there's a little bit of outline, but it's pretty much disappeared. So this versus this is much better. I'm going to use my 01 I tried to say Picron, but it's Pigmamicron. And I'm just going to attempt to draw in the lines where I think they might be going. And then continue these lines. Okay, that looks pretty good. Continue this one out. And then there's like a little shading and shadow on a couple of these, so I'm just going to add that back in. All right, I think I'm going to use similar colors to what I just used for the rocks down here on this part of the castle. Yeah, let me pause this so I can sharpen my pencils. Hang on a second. Make sure that you are good in frame. I think you're good. Okay. So again, I'm going to start, I've got the same 4 colors that I used for the rocks. So I've got those colors there. I'm going to start with the dim gray. That did much better, but it's probably because it's a dark color. I think probably on the smoke or I think that's just all smoke. That might be some lava splashing up back there. But I think this is just all smoke, although I might make it kind of a grayish pink smoke. But the Black Widows, again, worked pretty well even over 2 layers of that Pitt pen. So yeah, I'm pleased with the way that both of those worked. So yeah, with the Pitt pen, you just have to remember to clean off the tip occasionally and double check it, make sure that it's not picking up ink everywhere. And then with the Posca pen, I mean, it just works great. The only reason, so I also have my Arteza gel pens, and I do like these. However, every time I've tried to color over top of them, they scratch off. I don't know if it's just the way I'm doing it, if I'm messing something up, doing something wrong, but I like to save my Arteza gel pens for actual white highlights and things like that, and to, like if I have a flower and I want the end to be really highlighted, I'll make sure to put white on the edges. So that's where I would use that probably. But yeah, so that's kind of my game plan going forward in these mythographic books, is to just cover everything. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's also kind of fun because it's a little bit of a creative challenge. You have to figure out where lines might be, and if there's no lines, like down here in this rock where I just kind of made my own thing, I kind of looked at the rock surrounding it and said, okay, there's a line there. So that's kind of interesting and fun too. But so yeah, so I hope that helped and dealing with any issues you might have with the hidden objects. I do plan on doing a full color along in one of these books. I will probably have the items already whited out when I go to color it, but I really enjoyed the last color along I had in a mythographic book, and I feel like I need to do another one. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye!